Well, it really depends on where you are in relation to your showrunner. Oftentimes, when you're directing an animated series versus feature, the biggest role that you have is realizing the goal of the showrunner and making sure that their vision gets up on the screen. So that involves overseeing the process from script through storyboards, where we first imagine the look of the show, through design, and animation, post, and music. And all of that is ultimately to put Lauren, in this case, the vision of the show on the screen.
How much control do you have over character design, and how much do you have to play with that?
As a director, not a lot. The design typically is set ahead of time. In our case, we want to be true to the characters that we inherit from DC and canon, and making sure that we reflect their personalities, but also make sure the character design reflects who they are, in our case as girls, because we really want to thematically represent the girls as different characters. They all have different body types, they have different personalities, and we really want to make sure that what they look like sort of says a bit of who they are. So all that is really carefully thought out ahead of time, and we don't have a lot of wiggle room once that design is set. However, as new characters come in, whether that be villains or supporting characters like Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, we're trying to find fun ways of how can we make these characters match with our show, but also feel like they're the characters that people who know and love them from the comics and movies and other iterations of those characters. What's new and exciting, but also true who they are.
One character that I would love to see is Iris West. Is there any chance that we'll get to see her?
I can't say we currently have any plans in our current run, but we do have a lot of characters in our back pocket that we'd like to have, or at least have as possible Easter eggs in the background even, but we don't have currently any plans to get her on.
Working with voice actors, I know a lot of these voice sessions are solo, they're not added to groups. Was that the case here?
Not all the time. Oftentimes we do bring characters on as groups, especially when the story calls for the girls, overcoming something as a group where you want to have the characters interacting. And also, what we're finding is we're 11 minutes, so we have 6 main characters and 6 villains. So when you have a main cast of characters of 12, it's really hard to do in 11 minutes. So what we often want to do is find 2 characters who either jive or kind of butt heads in a really fun, entertaining way. And in those cases, you really do want the 2 actors or actresses, in our case, to really get in the room and play off each other in a very comedic way, because we are an action comedy and we want to have that, that chemistry, on the screen.
Speaking of team ups or headbutting, is there any new ones that you can tease that are coming up?
Well, a lot of it is in our main cast of girls who we've already released. We have Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Supergirl, Green Lantern, Zatanna, and Bumblebee. And all of those characters are very different, and so they're different power-wise. So you can pick a character who has, how would Batgirl and Supergirl approach a problem, and one has powers and one doesn't? Or how would a character like Wonder Woman, who's very, by the book and stoic and a true leader, how would she interact with a character that is more, like Zatanna, who in our case is a very, flamboyant, show-offy type character. They're very different. So finding interactions like that have been really fun.
So how do you decide who comes next? Or who you can bring in? Is there a pool you can choose
as new
from?
Characters?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that we're doing with our show, which is a bit of a step from the original iteration, is that we're bringing back the idea of secret identities and the idea of having a teen life and a super life. So what we're usually looking for are characters who have a really interesting teen mirror. So when we're considering who our villains might be or other characters might be, that's something that we keep in mind. So when you have a character like, say, Giganta, who's a classic Wonder Woman a villain, Diana she's the valedictorian, she's the sports star. So when you have a character like, who would you put that against? And we have Giganta being, she grows, that's what she is. She's very physically imposing, so we make her, we put her on a sports team. They're rival sports stars, and then as superheroes, then they're fighting each other physically. So new characters, we always want to try and bring them into that mode? Like, what can we find an interesting way to find a teen parallel? So as much as we're searching through canon, there are some characters we really want to bring in, but they don't necessarily have the most obvious teen parallels. So that's why we're trying also to do deep dives for new characters who, you know, we might not be used to seeing, but who really work well into that genre.
Now, with you have a very talented cast of voice actors and comedians, etc. You said how you like to sometimes bring them in together and play off each other. Do you leave room for improv, and does some of that ever stay in?
Oh no, definitely. We've had improv. Some really fun improv actually. That make it through the final show, and you know, some of it's just the way that you read the line is not what you intended, but it's really fun, so you leave it in. Other cases, like there are jokes that the actors have improv that can really make it a show. It's really fun to see, and you never know what you're going to get. I mean, we're not quite as fluid as how you can be in live action, but we definitely want to. If there's something really natural happens in the room, we'll try and keep it in.
What are ways that you could keep it in, because you have to go with what's already been animated, right?
Well, so the way we work is we write the script, the dialogue is recorded, and then it goes off to a storyboard artist. So they're doing their boards, they're drawing to what the actors have done. So if there's an improv that we really like, we put it in. But what we also do is we allow the storyboard artist to, if they're listening to the reads or they're, you know, as they're drawing, they find, you know, a joke that we either didn't see on the page or the actors didn't find in the room, we give them the freedom to add lines, add jokes, and then we'll do a re-record afterwards to get those. So it's really a very fluid medium. It allows for a lot of back and forth, and we're very open to being a collaborative team because, you know, and our team also we have a lot of DC fans on our team, and some of them are very into certain characters or canon, and so we want, you know, if you want to do a deep dive on this character and you feel like this is a really good situation, we're happy to hear a pitch for it. It's really fun.
That's really, I mean, I hadn't heard that. That's very like a comic book collaboration where the artists will write, oh, that actually works. I can take those words out and back and forth. That's great. Wow.
I mean, ultimately, we are very careful about how we write our scripts. We want them to be very thematic, and they're tight. You know, 11 minutes, it's hard to pack a long story into 11 minutes, so we really try and make sure it's, you know, as entertaining and fun and acting as it can be, but we are also completely open to new ideas as we go.
With a lot of, especially around live action superhero stuff, is very dark.
It is very
dark. Superhero Girls is that it's very light.
It is very light.
And great tone. And obviously that's meant to be that way. So is there, I hope not, is there ever any thoughts of delving? Should we maybe get a little more serious in this section? We're going to keep it sort of a light tone throughout.
Well, it's funny because we have darker characters, for example. So one of the characters who, you know, we're thinking about, you know, looking more into, like, I'm not sure if they've announced it, but we do have some darker characters who we might want to bring over from the other series, and, you know, exploring with how we can deal with those in an appropriate way. You know, it's a kid's show, but we also want to be true to the characters. But in a lot of cases, what we're finding is, you know, real stakes don't necessarily have to be superhero stakes. When you're a teenager, possibly losing your job, your after-school job, or failing a test, or, you know, there can be big stakes for that. It actually means a lot. You don't, you know, want to get the school play that you want. They're not dark, but they're, you know, they're very meaningful to, you know, when you're that age and your life is your friends and your school, and you know, your world is kind of small. The stakes are bigger. So what we really want to do is we're placing the girls at an age and at a time where they're about to step into this bigger world. So the way that we've designed the world feels very large. It feels like they're these young girls who have these amazing abilities, but they're also on the cusp of stepping out into this big world, and as a big world they also have to protect. So there are stakes inherent in the feel of the art design and the show and the stories, even if they don't necessarily get super dark. And I think there's room for that. We definitely are planning, you know, arcs for the characters. They're 11 minutes, they're standalone episodes, but we do want them to grow and change over the course of the series. So things will, you know, slowly become more serious and character-based, but we still want to have room for the very standalone comedic episodes as well.
One thing that I was impressed with by the YouTube series was how certain character arcs, like like Jessica Cruz's anxiety or even Raven and parental abuse. So we're working to make it appropriate for children, like you said. So are those the kind of character arcs that we're going to see, and are they going to be building off of what's already happened, or is it kind of a clean slate for the series?
We want to definitely build the same types of character arcs because the characters, a lot of them they are holding over, but the characterizations of those characters are changing a little bit. So, for example, the anxiety we have in the old show, that's actually going over to a different character, such as Bumblebee. So Bumblebee is, she's in our world, Bumblebee doesn't have powers. She's so she's sort of creating this persona because she's smart, she's plucky, she's intelligent. She can make this amazing suit, and that gives her powers. But she's the newbie, she's the rookie, and so we're also making her a little bit younger than the other girls, so she has a little bit of anxiety about that, and she just, she wants to finally be a hero. So there's going to be similar arcs, and the characters are going to grow in similar ways, but we won't be carrying over the arcs from the original series. But the idea is every single girl in the series has a want and a need. They have what they think they want to achieve, and then what they actually want to achieve emotionally over the course of the story. And so everyone has a storyline that we are planning out now, and so the idea would be that if you take, half a dozen episodes out of these Bumblebee episodes, or these Zatanna episodes, or these Becca episodes, you could see her arc over the course of those episodes. But they're interspersed in the series as we go.
Now the series obviously is superhero girls,
yes.
It seems for a younger, maybe even girl audience, but I find it very universal for young boys and everybody alike. Is there sort of a through-line way you want to just appeal universally?
Oh, definitely. I think we are very much into empowering girls to make relatable, strong female characters, and they're probably our core audience. But we want universal appeal, across the board and across all ages. We are bringing in. We have our male superhero characters who we're also bringing into the series, who interact with the girls either as teammates or as teens, and I really think there's a lot there, for a wide audience. The stories are really fun. They're really relatable. They're silly. There's some ridiculously fun action scenes that we have planned that are, again, like really character-based, but also just for the fun action for the sake of cool action. Like it's just nice to see girls kicking butt in a really significant way, especially with characters, who are super strong, like Wonder Woman and Supergirl in our case, but also embracing, the girliness of, sparkles and magic, and how that can be really fun, but also really cool.
And my niece is 7 and she loves it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I think the short that we are going to be showing later on today is really going to show sort of like the tone, but also the fun and the action.
And when exactly is it coming out in the fall?
The short is going to premiere in front of Teen Titans Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the series.
And the series is going to be on Cartoon Network, but we don't have an official release date that's been announced.
Oh, okay.
But it will be coming soon, and we already have content that we're, with the short that we're seeing. So it's. I'm really hoping that it's going to give people a sense of what the new flavor of the series is, and the girls and their personalities, and just the
Yeah, I was talking to my nephew, who's a little older, and of course he was like, "It's a girls' show." I'm like, "Watch it." And he really enjoyed it. He thought it was fun. Yeah, but it's like that's why I think it can appeal. It's great. So I like it.
The new style for the show will allow for, in animation, a lot more snappiness, a lot more action, comedy, in a way that we can really delve into, based on the look and feel of it. It is tonally a little different, and that slight tone shift allows us to kind of push both for comedy and for action. And that makes a better episode.
I was actually going to ask, but you sort of already answered it, because they've also had like movies, like direct-to-DVD movies in the past. So like, how much did you pull from that as well, like for the new show, or is it just
because the world is so different? It's sort of a complete reimagining, but keeping a lot of the themes the same. Having said that, we do want to do. We are planning a couple of bigger arcs both over episodes, but also constantly, we are thinking about what could we do as a special, like whether or not that's, an event for like they like events. So,
Yeah.
like, what kind of characters will be introduced for those events, or what kind of stories can we tell? And really, it's going to be about pushing the vision to, fun of the world and the characters.
The theme song, however, was super catchy. Is it going to stay the same?
The theme song probably will change.
Oh,
to
no.
reflect the new theme. It will be super catchy.
Okay, it has to be catchy.
Now with the obviously it's from DC Comics and DC World, and we're talking obviously the movies as well. But there's all different. There's a lot of DC Kids on it as well. A lot of great writers on it. Who do you have working on the writing side of it?
So Mitch Larson is our script supervisor, and we have, we have a lot of freelance writers. Some of them come from. We're going to do one more question. Okay. Oh, sorry. A lot of them are comics fans. We've had some writers who work on other DC properties, other shows, who think Go, for example. So we were casting a very wide net in terms of writers. We have basically a lot of freelancers. If there's a particular character or storyline that we want to draw from, we're very open.
You yourself writing any?
I'm not writing. I've thought about it. They're really fun characters, and they're really fun stories because the girls are so individual. It really allows for some really fun, new storytelling that I think I really want to explore.